record. Perfect. And share. Yes, Maria.
Really quick, I do have something to say because I feel like my situation that's been going on for the past month is really particular to this call too. So I'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay. That's like a little teaser.
Yeah, I just don't want to forget it because then I'm
Okay.
gonna forget.
Okay. All right. So
Man.
we'll talk about it after then. All right. Let me press share. All right. So we're talking a lot of mindset, and I really want each and every one of you to like really reflect throughout this call of how we can start thinking bigger. How can we start expecting more of ourselves? How can we really build understanding, trust in our journey? So, like throughout this call, like if you want to write, if you want to think, if you want to journal about this after, I think this would be a really good idea because this is a mindset that we just need every single one of you to tap into. And well, we'll kind of get into it, right? And what I mean by trusting in the process is also like chilling the fuck out. And the reason that I say that is because when you get past, that's why I wanted to like really split up like phase one, phase two, girls, or just like these 2 weeks, is the difference in like your first initial 6 months is that instant gratification is intense in phase one. Like you just get PRs. Remember you like in your first 2, 3 months that you just hit PRs like all the time. Every single time that you live, you're like 5 extra pounds, 5 extra pounds, just hit a new PR, just hit a new PR. And then eventually it just starts to slow down. All right, that is all normal. But like looking at your goals and trusting the process, but mostly like chilling the fuck out when it comes to trusting in that. And we're gonna talk about that as well. Now, the fact that you've gotten to this point, past the initial 6 months, once, I want everybody to congratulate yourselves on that. Some of you are a year in, 2 years in, wherever you kind of are in this journey, right? You've already proven to yourself that you can do this. And now it's time to build the mindset and habits to keep you progressing for life. So, where you are now, you are no longer in the proving phase. You're no longer in like, oh, I want to believe in myself that I can do XYZ, because you've already proven that you can be consistent. You've already shown discipline. Like you've tracked, you've trained, you've done all the things. And now that you're not like, oh, can I do this? You know that you can. How can we start tapping into like, how great can I actually become at this continuously? And to tap into like, how great can I actually become and chill the fuck out at the same time, like trusting the process is difficult. And it honestly, for me, took me a while to like really blend those worlds together, right? But it is something that I want you to start focusing on so that you can enjoy the journey. So now thinking bigger. So thinking beyond like the next check-in, thinking beyond the next few pounds, right? What you've done over the last 6 months, it was easy, like, cool, let's hit these X amount of weight. And like maybe for the next 6 months, it's like, cool, I want to hit X amount or I want to do X amount, whatever. Now, how can we start thinking of like, where do you want to be in a year? Where do you want to be in 2 years? And where do you want to be in five? I really, I mean, I wish, and you could prove me wrong, but I really doubt a lot of you have really sat down to consider, like, where do I want to be in 5 years? All right. But it is something that you should consider because does anybody plan on like not working out? Like, you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to stop doing this. No. So you are going to get to year five. And in thinking of that version of you at year five is where we want to start like acting as her. And when we start to think like, okay, year five means that how many workouts you have to get? I don't know. How many workouts do we get in a year? What's four times whatever? Those amount of workouts times five, right? That is a lot of workouts. That is a significant amount of workouts, right? So when we think of like, okay, I just need to show up one workout at a time, one workout at a time, one workout at a time. And there's going to be like Amy, there's going to be those 2 weeks where you get sick or I get food poisoning and Maria gets a concussion and we go on vacation. Like those couple of weeks, those couple of missed workouts out of those 5 years of workouts, right? They become very minute. So again, when we're starting to think of 5 year goals, not saying that like, oh, it's okay if I just skip a workout. No, that's not what we're tapping into today. but it helps us understand that like those are very micro things out of the macro picture, right? Where we want to go is not being like, okay, you're not a woman that just kind of like maintains. We're becoming someone that just continuously evolves. And I say that lightly because I do think there are phases in your 5 years that all you're going to be focusing on is maintaining. I bet most of you in your journey have lost weight and then gained it. Or you know somebody, a friend, and not your mom or like whoever it is that has lost weight and gained it 17 times, right? Maintaining weight loss is way more impressive than losing it. Maintaining it is something that everybody should celebrate. So if you ever get to the point like I know for Christine, we spoke about this like 2 years ago. She's like, eventually I want to get to the point where I'm just like, not really focusing on changing my body right now. I'm just focusing on like performance and just kind of want to maintain where I'm at. Right. We get there 2 years later. She's like, oh, this feels fucking good. Let's go into a cut in like 2027. I'm like, I can't believe you just said that. I love that. Right. But again, because she's starting to think of that bigger vision of her and maintaining her physique and not hyper focusing on her body is something that she wants to focus on. That is a part of evolving. Right. But we have to understand in order to think bigger is that there is no going back from here. You've already built the habit that most people have not. So ask yourself, what does the next level of me look like? Physically, mentally, emotionally, like how does she act? Where is she? How is she with her habits? And when we look at like our Project Fit Chick logo, that's the reason that we build it this way. Think of this initial phase. This is your phase one. You build that foundation and you're like, yay, cool, I can work out like for 6 months and like do all the things. Right? Where you are right now is probably most of you at this level two. Some of you are here. Right? Level two is like, okay, you've already proven, but now we're leveling up, but like we haven't quite mastered and solidified, right? We're getting to mastered and solidified to continue setting goals and see that you set them and you achieve them. And it doesn't matter how long it takes you to achieve them, right? Now, what I have noticed is that we overestimate what we can achieve in the short term and we underestimate what we can achieve in the long term. So I always like to think about every time you guys tell me your goals, I picture you looking at inside this little picture. You're like, yeah, I want to achieve X 10 pounds. I want to get my squat to like a 150. And I'm like, cool. And I'm seeing like all these other things that you're about to become. All right. So I'll give an example of like Anna. You guys see her post her lifts that she's like lifting like 17 million pounds and then she's eating all her meals and like doing all the things and looking hot. Like we love that for her. When she first came in, same thing. Nicole, I just want to lose some weight. Nicole, do you think I should cut my calories a little bit more? Nicole, do you think I should do more cardio? Should I run? And like she asked me all these questions and like she just wanted to lose 15, 20 pounds, right? But what I see in her is where she is now, where she like missing a workout for her is she probably is the most consistent out of every single person on this program. I might even put the money on that one. Right. Same thing with Christine. Comes in, I just want a better relationship with food. I just want to lose 10 pounds. I just want to look a little leaner. I want to build some muscle. Right. But where we see she's now running like half marathon. She's now traveling by herself. She's moved out of the house, like all of the things that we can achieve outside of that. So that's where we have to start to tap into. How can you be somebody that is always looking at this like bigger picture for yourself and knowing, even though you can't quite put your finger on it, where you are going to be, you're like, what does 5 years even look like for me? Like knowing that you are so abundant that regardless of where you truly are, it's going to be so fucking great. All right. Now, I'm going to give an example of my personal journey. When I first started working out, I actually don't have a picture of it. But like even previous to this, I remember like hiring my first coach. I'm like, I want to lose some weight. And like if you guys know her name is Masi Arias. She's fucking awesome. Look her up on Instagram. She's so sick. She followed me and I literally cried because I started everything. You guys are here because of her. So when I first followed her, I was like, this girl is so kick-ass. Like her physique is sick. She has so much muscle. She is so strong. I want to look like that. But when I first started, I'm like, I need to lose 10 pounds and then I'm going to look like shredded and all this muscle. Little did I know that that is going to take me a really, really, really long time. Right. So when I'm here and I'm thinking, okay, I want to build this physique, I'm thinking, okay, maybe in like 2 years, I'm going to be there. Right. This is like 5 years later. Me building calories, different phases, bulks, cuts, maintenance phases, eating, and all of the things in between. That is like 5 years later. That's pretty significant, right? And you can see a pretty significant amount of change, but I'm still not there. And the reason that I share this story is because I know firsthand that I totally underestimated how much work and how long it was truly going to get me to get there. Now, do I still see myself as eventually looking like this? Yeah, she's sick, right? And I want to continue building that physique, but also she's so much bigger than me, so much bigger than me, and she's leaner than me. What does that mean? I'm never going to diet my way over that. So if I lose another 10 pounds, right? If I'm like, oh, I want to get leaner because you can see her quads and you can see her core, I need to get leaner. That's not what's going to get me there because she's also bigger than me in terms of mass, right? This is where I'm thinking like 5-year goals. Again, I share this journey because you probably have all of these goals of like who you want to look like or where you want to be or strength wise or like how you want to feel or like X, Y, Z, right? Let's start to increase that timeline a little bit and be okay with that and continue to make the baby steps in order to get there. So now, expecting more of yourself. Stop expecting the bare minimum. Be somebody who truly follows through. So now at this phase, when you tell yourself, like, I'm going to set the habit, I want to start reading more, read. I want to start stretching more, stretch. I'm going to hit my protein goal, hit it, right? You didn't get this far to like start making new goals and being okay with like not setting them. And that's why sometimes you guys tell me like, oh, Nicole, I really want to work on, I don't know, my PT or like my reading habits or my journaling habits. And I'm like extra hard on you. All right. I'm extra hard on you because you've already come this far, right? You've already come this far, and you're going to tell me that you spent the first 6 months of Project Fitching doing the hardest thing ever, and you can't read at night when you told me you were going to read, right? This is where I want you to start tapping into that next level version of yourselves because it's simple little things like that, like reading when you said you would, that is going to keep you going long term. Now, in order to keep going long term, we also can't rely on motivation at this point. And this comes up, hey girls, like, what do you guys do when you're like not feeling motivated too? You're probably never gonna feel as motivated as you did when you first started. They'll come and they'll come in spurts. But in phase two, what really happens here is like just pure discipline, right? And it's not as exciting every week. You've already done the macros, you've already worked out 4 times a week. Like, even 4 times a week, when you're like, yay, I completed all my workouts this week. I'm like, I love that for you, but like, eventually that's not the biggest goal, right? So, because we can't rely on motivation, we also have to understand that this is the lifestyle that you wanted, right? This is what you asked for. You asked for no more crash dieting, no more starting over, no more punishment, like consistency, strength, showing up to the gym, doing all of the things. But what I'm seeing is once you get there, and once the journey starts to become boring and redundant, that's when we're like, oh, but like motivation. I'm like, girl, you literally said you just wanted to be the girl that's not starting over, that's not crash dieting, that's making sure that she's eating enough, that's working out consistently, and you are there. You are there. Good, now let's keep it going. Right? We can't expect motivation to just be the reason that we continue to show up to the gym, right? It is just because I think of that 5-year version of me. I even think of myself when I'm 80 years old. That's a whole nother topic. We can talk about that version of you too. But I think of her and I'm like, she's going to be so kick ass. She's going to be hiking. She's going to be doing all of the things. And it's very important that I show up for her today. Now, also here, we have to understand that when we are in phase two, that your progress does slow, and that is okay. Those newbie wins, those PRs, those like 10 pounds of muscle that you guys put on like in the beginning phases, that slows down. I wish I could add 5 pounds to my squat every time I lift. I wish I could add 10 pounds to my muscle mass every single year. It's much harder, right? And that's okay, right? Again, this is the lifestyle that you asked for, right? So where we are here is we are not relying on instant gratification. We are not relying on perfection. We are not, oh no, we are relying on consistency and having higher standards, right? Instant gratification was when I first started, where do I want to be in 6 months? And I try to be super, super perfect in order to get there, right? But now, consistency of having higher standards is where do I want to be in a year? Where do I want to be in 2? Where do I want to be in 5? Right? With this and the motivation and chilling the fuck out, getting sick, traveling, missing workouts, having setbacks, this is now where that is just gonna happen over and over and over and over again. I also guarantee when you first started, you probably had like a basis of like, okay, I don't have anything crazy happening over the next 6 months. But I will say this until my year starts to get better. Because I remember telling Maria that this is the block, this is the month that I am gonna hit all of my workouts. And then I got fucking food poisoning. Like, bro, in my first week of the workouts, I'm like, workout number 4, I'm gonna do it on Sunday. Food poisoning. Now I'm in week 2 and I'm not even started yet. All right. But this stuff is gonna happen every month. I've never had such an inconsistent year where like something gets in the way, something. I'm like, how? But it is what it is, right? We cannot get super frustrated with these things. We cannot say, I got sick, I'm traveling, like I got injured. That's gonna happen too. I know Ariel has like this elbow pain. We have like a bunch of different pains. Like those things happen out of nowhere. Maria gets a concussion, my hip flexor hurt, my wrist, I'm going to PT now. All of this is part of the journey. So we have to make sure that when life happens, we breathe and we continue. So now let's get into your phases. So just kind of finish this off. All right. Now, you guys are probably in a couple of different phases, and we can talk about that as well. So for my girls that are in your deep deficit right now, you're probably like trickling between, even after this, you're like, am I in phase 1? Am I in phase 2? Where am I kind of at right now? All right. We're at the point where you're deep into this deficit. You're in that grind phase. You are pushing through hunger, fatigue, slower recovery. You're learning patience. You're kind of pushing this like dieting phase. One thing to remember, and this would be a great point to like ask the questions and bring these things up, that this phase right here is very, very temporary. The goal is not to live in deficit phase, right? And it is going to make sense in a couple of months. So, I know Sarah is in a deficit right now. Ariel is not in a deficit right now, for example. But we backtrack. Ariel, when's the last time you were in deficit? Like 4 months ago? 3 months ago. All right. Same exact thing. So you guys are kind of like, she's like one little step, right? When you're in that deep deficit, I guarantee that Ariel at that point was just like, this is fucking hard. Like this kind of sucks. Like I'm just gonna grind through this. And it almost feels like where is the way out? Why is this so hard? Like we almost hyper focus around food and all those things. And now that she's 3 months in, she turns around, she's like, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense why I was feeling that way. Oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense why I was like so super hyper focused on food because it was like really deep in my deficit and everything was really hard, right? All of that is very, very, very normal, right? So we have to understand like those different phases in our journey, right? Those deep deficits. And then it's my girls that are coming out of it. Reversing, if you're in that right now, of the goal of eating more, that one's I feel like that's harder than a deficit, except for a deep deficit. I'll say the deep deficit is the hardest part. But the reverse is very, very difficult. And everybody wants to eat more food until Nicole and Maria up your calories, and then you're like, gasp, this is so hard. Like, no, me, I don't want to gain the weight back, right? So if you are in that point right now, reversing is a very big mind game because everything that you've ever done up until this point has been weight loss and calorie deficit and low calorie and maybe fat free and small meals. But when you get into the reverse phase, it's like all of that just disappears. Now all of a sudden you're like this eating machine that like is like a bro and you're like trying to figure out how to eat your calories and then you don't hit your calories and then you make your meals too big and then you're like really full and then you're kind of bloated and you did that wrong and like that is all also part of the journey of learning, right? Here, it's not about just eating more food, it's about eating more calories. And that sentence in itself seems pretty simple until you put it together and you start to add another 100 calories every 2 weeks or so. It's about trusting your metabolism and like seeing what really changes within your body. So, anybody that's not in this phase know that that is coming, right? Trusting your metabolism. What does that mean? You feel it. For me, I use the example of like, I get this itch to like clean. I'm like, I don't want to clean. There's no reason. And it's because I have so many calories in me. Like I just have energy more. So I like get this itch to like do more things in the house. You get more energy. You do things like this with my hands. If I'm in a deep deficit, I'm probably gonna have my hands down here, right? It's just my body response. You feel fuller, you're stronger, maybe a little bit uncomfortable. That is all okay, right? So these are the things that's happening. And then what comes after this phase is actually learning maintenance. Again, another thing, because it's no instant gratification. I haven't changed your calories in a really long time, and you're like, what the fuck? And then we have to slowly start to see your body change and adapt until that next phase comes. All right, tap into that. So now I just want to open it up for discussion, right? And answer any questions. I think this would be a great point for anybody to like, anybody that's ahead and wants to talk about like, where you were, maybe when you were in a deficit or you're in a deficit, you're like, hey, what happens after this? Like, I'm kind of struggling with this. Like, what's been the biggest mental and physical challenge in this current phase? Right? Express it. There, guarantee there is somebody that is ahead of you that can help you with that. What's been the hardest or most freeing part of learning to eat more? For me personally, the hardest part of learning to eat more is just challenging everything that I've ever been taught and failing over and over and over again and realizing like, oh, I thought I hit my calories today and I'm at like 1700 and I have like 500 calories left for the rest of the day. And one thing that I want every single one of you to answer after this is, in what ways am I holding myself back from that next level version of me? In what ways am I holding myself back from that next level version of me? Could be different. Maybe you aren't waking up at the time that you said you would. Maybe you said you would do your mindset work, but you're letting stress get the hang of you. Maybe you're making these new habits. Maybe you're not pushing hard in the gym. Maybe you are getting too caught up in motivation and instant gratification. Dive into that, because that is probably like a very small detail that like is actually a huge issue, right? So for me personally, what is holding me back from getting to that next level version of me that I realized is that I've been really soft with my lips. So fucking soft. So soft. Hate it. And then I was like, why am I doing? I actually was watching a anybody watch Physical 100 or Physical Asia on Netflix? It'll make you train really, really hard. Anyways, I was watching that and I was like, damn, like I couldn't get to this next level, but it's not going to be training the way I am right now. Like I want to pick it up. Like I want to get that fire back within me. So in what ways am I holding myself back from that next level version of me? And that is it for today. Remember that food is love and strength is power. And I'm gonna let you guys, anybody, kind of chime in for any of these, like what's been the hardest part, or giving any type of reflection of you learning from previous phases. I will stop sharing and let anybody pop in. That's my question about what happens when you're coming out of a deficit, plus not gaining weight and not adding muscle. So, that's a great question. And I feel like a lot of those next phases, you almost like I can tell you what happens. We're gonna increase your calories, you're gonna struggle with it, it's gonna be hard, you're gonna not be able to hit those calories. And like I know all of the things that will happen in like plain sight, but you kind of just have to go through it. Like you have to see yourself starting to add 200 calories and maybe like realizing like, oh damn, my snack is like 100 calories, like that's not working. Or maybe you added it in the wrong way and you're like, oh, that made me feel not great. It's a lot of, it is trial and error, and it's almost, I think, more trial and error than when you're cutting, because when you're cutting you just take it out. You're just like, no carbs, okay. You just kind of take those things out. And also when you're coming out of a deficit, it is a different feeling in your energy. Your lifts shoot up, your energy shoots up, your like focus on tracking calories, it's not as much, because then you're like, oh, I have like 22 to work with. Like I can just not even track this last meal and I'll track it later when I get home from my walk and I'll probably still have calories to spare with. So like these are all little things that happen, but when you get there, you have to go through all of it and then you'll be like, oh, that makes sense. So yeah, it's one of those things. What's deep in a calorie deficit versus calorie deficit? Um, just you are deep in a deficit right now, girl. You are deep. So what I mean by deep in a deficit is like when you're not is like you've been in it for like, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months, but like when you're a month like five, when we've gone through diet breaks and I put you back into a deficit and you're like, I just want to push through this, that's when you're deep in it. And that's when I ask you a lot of questions, sometimes questions that you might even not know. I'll use an example for Crystal. I probably asked her every single week at the end of her deficit, like, are you good? You want to keep going? Okay, cool. This is what's going to happen if you keep going. This is what's going to happen if you don't keep going. Pick your option, right? So like that's kind of what happens in a deep deficit. And then until you're like, okay, cool, like I'm good. I don't want to kind of go any further than this.
Wait, I do have something to say. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. Aisha, there's most likely for gaining the weight back, yes, there's a possibility that your weight might be stable. You either lose more weight coming out of a deficit, because we saw that with Ashley H.
Mm.
When we started reversing her, she just kept losing weight. We're like, holy fuck, this girl's losing weight. We have to up her calories more. Or you start gaining it back. And not excessively, but it's a hit or miss with certain people, to be honest with you, when they're out of the deficit. But
Very,
that's nothing to be afraid of.
yeah. When Jesus gaining it back, also that doesn't mean like getting back all the weight that you gained. It just means like you're gonna see. For example, with talk deep deficit, I'm gonna just use an example of like a little chart. Right, your weight kind of goes down, and then we take you out of your deficit, and then in Ashley's case, it kept going down, and I'm like, okay, this is concerning. We need to make this thing stop. But that's usually rare. Like I rarely see that we lift your calories up so high and your weight keeps going down. Usually it's like, okay, it kind of starts to stable out, but it will go up. Like not saying that it's gonna go up the same amount that it dropped, depends on the person. There are people, I'll use the example of like, who can I use? Like Erica, for example. When she first started, all of the weight that technically she lost, she's like the same weight as she started like 2 years ago, but she looks absolutely insane. Like she looks completely different because muscle and like that's when we start talking about like, oh, the scale, like, we're not really focused on the scale. That looks different for everybody. Um, and one more thing that I was gonna say is the reason that we always are going to see at least, I would say 5 pounds, is because if you grab like a sponge and you dunk it in water, that is exactly what your body is doing. All your carbs start soaking up water. So scale just goes up. That's not a bad thing though. You're gonna see like in the first 2 months, you're like, oh no, not first 2 months. Like first 3 weeks, you're like, oh my God, scale. And then like after, like, oh, okay, I'm not dying. So little things. Cause what were you gonna say?
Oh, I wanted to add, hi everyone. It's so nice to be on here finally. But I just wanted to say, like when I started the reverse, I was like, yeah, I can't wait to eat more food, and I was actually like doing it kind of mindlessly. So like I was like, ooh, this is my chance to like have all those foods that I wasn't having. So I wasn't hitting my protein goal. I was like way over in my carbs, and then I didn't want to go over my calories. So it took me like about a month to kind of get my shit together and just realize like the reverse is still a part of like your tracking process. It still has to be mindful. And then there were days where like I made bigger portions and then I was so full and I didn't want to eat. So that's something that was like super hard for me because I was excited to eat more food, but I wasn't eating it the way that was mindful. And then I was gaining. So it's funny because and then when I think about it, I think my lowest was like 155, 154. And like I weigh myself now, I'm like 158. So like 4 pound difference, that's like nothing. My body's completely a different shape than it was. So I think that you're just going to have to go through it because and then you start realizing like, okay, it's not this weight that I'm gaining, right? It's like the water or it's just like I had more carbs. And even if you do have a little bit of weight, that's okay. And something that I talked about with Nicole Maria was that like I got rid of all my clothes that were a little bit bigger and I started buying all these new clothes on like my deficient body. And then I was like, oh no, they're so tight. What did I do? I threw away all my clothes. So maybe keeping some things like some staples that you have that are a bit bigger is helpful because and then I felt like I was it was kind of like a mind thing of like, oh, I'm failing again. I'm gaining weight again. Like, oh, now I'm not going to fit in these clothes again. And I just threw out all my other clothes. So that's something that was super duper hard for me.
Yeah, I like
I'm
that.
glad you said that, Crystal. I'm really glad you said that because I haven't thrown anything out yet. I'm just kind of in this like place where I'm like I'm trying to figure out what is next, but also figure out where my weight is because right now it feels like it's not dropping, it's just maintaining a little. And that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
one. So I'm just trying to figure out like what does it look like once it come out because will it be the same or different?
Yeah, keep some things and just be mindful. Like, honestly, like everything, you have to go through it. Like, everything's a journey. Not everyone's the same. But like, they just, Nicole and Maria just do such a great job of like leading you through it and like just trusting it and not like getting too caught up in like scale weight, getting too caught up in like your mind, like, telling you things that are not true because it'll drive you crazy. And like now, like, I don't even like, I remember like I used to write on like the check-ins. Like it used to be like, oh, what something that do you have something coming up that like we have to prepare for? And I used to write like I'm having a birthday party on Saturday. And it's like that's not something that is even a concern of mine anymore. Like we can make good choices. We can also be present and we don't have to like make everything so like it's such a big deal, and that takes a long, long time. But that's something that this program has really helped me with, which I'm happy about because it's all that noise that you don't need.
I like that. The birthday party thing really got me. 'Cause sometimes you guys, at the beginning too, I'm like, oh, and then I kind of walk you through like birthday parties and like what to do. And then after, I'm like, okay, you have a birthday party, have fun. Another thing I'm gonna add to the clothes thing is like, I think that's just an ever-growing version as you evolve. Like, be okay with your wardrobe, just like get rid of it and get a new wardrobe as much as you want. What I've noticed is muscle or like clothes was not meant for girls with muscle. I don't know if it's just me, but like it just isn't. Like there's no reason that I don't know. I put on some pants and I'm like all large, like girl, like I don't know, like where, like why is this not coming at my quads? Like this doesn't even make sense. Or like why is it big here and small here? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. So you have to just like with the clothes thing, buy it for your body. What I personally do is like when I think of like that 5 year version of myself, now that my goals are muscle building as well, is I don't get things that fit me precisely because I know that if I build a little bit of quad, they're not going to fit me in 6 months or in a year. So it benefits me. I like big ass clothes. But think about that. Like, if your goal is losing weight, but like you're like, oh, but I actually want like glutes, I want quads, then maybe like Crystal, if you buy it clothes when you're in deep deficit and then you gain like 3 pounds of muscle, you're like all of a sudden like, oh, I'm happy with my body when I see my progress picture, but I put clothes on and I don't feel good. It's probably the clothes. You probably made some like wrong decisions around there. Again, something that we kind of all go through. Um, Before we change the topic there too, is when Crystal mentioned like the reverse is just as important, that is huge. So I noticed that too. When you go through this like deficit and you're cutting, you finally get the chance to like be a little bit more free. Sometimes you guys are like, I'm free. And I'm like, no, you're not. Come back. You have to track. There will be times for more flexibility. There will be times for like more freedom. But when you're still like increasing and we haven't quite gotten to maintenance, I always like tame the beast. And even for me, like I have to tame my beast when I'm reversing because I'm like, I just want to eat everything. And I've been working so hard that I need a break, but like just hold on a little bit longer. My shape is so different already that I can't wear shit. Love that. My ass is fatter, my waist is smaller. Goals. Please manifest that for my life right now. Like, why don't shirts fit my armholes is the question that I want to know. And then I'm like, I want my shoulders to be bigger. And then I go to fitness events and I think I'm huge. And then I see these girls and they're jacked and I'm like, I'm so small. So like it's just, it's all part of the journey. Um, but again, where I say like chill the fuck out, it's like getting into that comparison, like trying to figure out next week, next month, and all of these things, like it kind of drives you insane, right? It kind of drives you insane thinking of 3-month version of you or 6-month version of you, when like this journey should be a lot of you being a kick-ass woman and lifting and being consistent and like working on yourself. So like really try to focus on that a little bit more. Do we have any more questions? Anybody want to share anything else?
I do want to share my story that I was going to
Oh,
say in the beginning.
I almost forgot.
I just wanted to let
Go
everybody
ahead, you.
talk first. Okay, so my situation was everyone knows I got a fucking concussion, right? Like a month ago. And I did not work out for a whole fucking month. And honestly, I did cry because I always cry. I'm a crybaby. But I cried because I missed the gym and I love the gym so fucking much. And I always want to work out. But I couldn't. And I finally got to the gym last week. I worked out. I was feeling good. Not a single fucking headache. Lifted 60 pounds for a bench after not lifting for a month. And then food poisoning. Only working out 3 fucking days.
Yeah.
I was so upset, and I'm like, this can't be my fucking life right now. I just got over a concussion and now have food poisoning this week. And guess what? My macros this week? Shit. You know what I ate today for dinner? Peanut butter and jelly sandwich and half a banana, because that's what my stomach can handle. No protein in sight, because I ate protein in the morning. I almost threw up. So there's some days that's gonna happen. I'm hoping next week it's gonna be a better week for us and we could go to the gym. But I don't rely on motivation because at this point in my life, I'm a fucking psycho and I just love the gym so much that I'm probably this week, maybe Friday, hopefully, or Saturday or Sunday, we can go to the gym. But I just love the gym so much that regardless of how I'm feeling now, I know I'm gonna go. Like my favorite saying to say to myself, again, you guys don't have to be so aggressive with yourself. I'm just really aggressive with myself because I can handle myself and I know how I am. I like to say, I tell it to Nicole too. She goes, "You're gonna go heavier?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not no bitch." And that's my favorite saying. Like, oh, okay, I'm sick right now, but I'm not no bitch. I'm gonna go to the gym. But again, you guys talk to yourself how you guys want to talk to yourself. That's how I talk to myself. That's my self-love for me to me.
That sounds accurate.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that just because I always tell myself, Mama didn't raise no bitch whenever I'm like trying to convince myself to not do something and I'm trying to push myself through it. And then I laugh at myself because my mom did raise a little bitch. Like I cry absolutely everything, and she's not like the most empowering. It, it's a whole thing, but I love saying it to myself because it's like that Delulu confidence that I like to build off of, right? Like just lie to myself that I can do it, and then I end up doing it, and not no bitches up in here.
I love that. I tell myself to stop eating like a little bitch. So, whatever your thing is, when I fill a PR, Maria go looks at me and she's like, keep not hitting your calories. And I'm like, I can't stand you. I can't stand you right now. But like again, however you guys want to talk to yourselves. I know some of you guys like have a different lingo. Whatever works. It's what works. You don't have to call yourself a bitch. If you can. If you want to.
I feel like we need a buddy system because you and Maria have each other to come at each other when it comes to this stuff. And my number one supporter at home is also my biggest enabler. And it's just crossfire back and forth. And I need that one person that's going to be like, Carla, are you hitting your calories? Carla, are you hitting your macros? Mm-mm-mm.
Valid. Buddy systems are good. I feel like some of you even follow each other on Instagrams. Like, be friends. Call each other whatever you guys want to call each other. We just get the benefits. Like, I mean, if you're all sending me your PRs and then I see that you beat my PRs, I am going to look at that when you send it. I'm gonna be like, you little, and then I'm gonna be like, I'm so proud of you, but I'm gonna be really upset. Like really upset. Carolyn sends me her PRs all the time. I'm like, what are you doing? And I know what she's doing. And but it's all healthy little competition just to push ourselves. The macro accountability group also. Yeah, I don't you guys push each other there. I also think you guys in the macro accountability, you're all very like similar vibe. So like you guys can call each other out and everybody knows how Carla is. And Hillary talks on there as well often. Like call each other out. Just be like, Hillary, where were you yesterday? But like it's part of it.
Carla, I'm gonna go hard now. You opened the door,
Please.
so
I walked into this group and it was crickets for like 2 weeks. I'm like, am I in the right group? Like, what is, like, did I miss the prompt? Like, what is going on here? Because there's nothing going on. And then all of a sudden I was like, fuck it. Like, I got to say something. Someone's going to say something or what, like, what was the point? So now that's why you guys see me messaging so much. Like, I have, first of all, nobody else to talk to. So shout out to the community because now I got somebody to talk to about food. But second of all, if I don't talk to anybody, then I'm just like, cookies, brownies, smoothies. I have to like refocus myself. Like, okay, no, protein, protein, protein. Like that's where we're at right now. So yeah, that's what the group I needed. That's what I needed. So come at me, Hillary. I'm waiting for you.
absolutely.
Yes, I love that. I'm excited. I pop in there and I read, but I said it from the beginning. There's only so much I can do. So there's only so many chats I can handle. So you guys got that one. Anybody else? Anything else to mention? Can we talk about how y'all will handle the holidays? We're gonna go over holiday foods. We're gonna go over Thanksgiving. We're gonna go over the Christmas madness that I know a lot of you guys have, and the social batteries and all the things that we kind of go through in the holidays. We're gonna have calls on all of that. So I'm really excited about that. Ooh, yes. Hot chocolate. I just had some. But you guys have any questions about anything that I mentioned, let me know. Can we cancel the holidays? Gasp, I just put up my tree. Don't Grinch my Christmas, please. I just ordered so many things on Amazon. My house is a snowman. Like, that is I.
Is that
Don't you
Amy?
live like away from the snow?
I know. That's why I felt like I had to decorate snow vibes. So I made a winter wonderland and I'm sweating right now. But like my house is winter wonderland because it's my bringing Jersey. It made sense and my inner child is thriving. If you guys have a snow day and you want to tell me so that I can have a snow day, let me know.
It snowed 3 inches today.
I got like three
And I went
minutes
for a
of
walk.
snow.
Before I moved here, I was like, I need a snow day. Like I just want to like I can clearly work whenever I want right here. But I want to be like, hey guys, taking a snow day. Oh, that's such a cute little tree. That little cute little kid. Yay. All right. Let me know if you guys need anything. And journal. 5-year version of yourself. That's who I want you guys to start envisioning. And then just put a brick down every single day because every single little brick matters. Love you. And ask for help when you need it because as you can see, everybody's going through the same shit. So, talk to you guys. Bye.